Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's PF, and on today's episode we're going to be hitting a black bottle, which is something that I haven't tried much of recently. I had covered a few black bottles a few years ago, but they've kind of passed me by a little bit as of late, to my detriment, and we'll get into that a little bit why in a short while. Here we've got the black bottle aged 10 years, which is an age-stated blended Scotch whisky. You know, there's probably a fair amount of kind of grain and malt in here as well. We don't know the exact proportions. We don't know exactly where this is from. What I can tell you is that this is a blend of Islay whiskies, and I think it's aged in probably refill casks, right? So this is a cheap whiskey. This is 40%. It's 25 to 27 pounds at the moment. I got it for 25 quid when I bought this, and I bought this specifically for a blind tasting that I did on a live stream on YouTube a few months ago. Again, links in the description below if you're interested in that. But because of the nature of that blind tasting, it left very little in the bottle, sort of like this, which, you know, yes, it's a black bottle, and you know I hate that sort of thing, but with my bright lights, I can just about see through it, so I do forgive it for that. I really hate those opaque bottles, but, you know, I mean, it's called black bottle, so I can't really be too aggrieved at it being in a black bottle, right? But they've got a really good range of whiskies right now. Their standard black bottle is like super cheap. This is the limited edition 10-year-old, so if you are interested in it, make sure you go and get it. I'll drop a link for that directly to Master of Malt below as well. Affiliate link and all that. But they've got an alchemy series, which are, various different kinds of whiskey. You'll have to go and check out each one. But the ones that I've tried, I've been really good for the price. You know, you've got to factor in a little bit of that, of course. You know, you've got to put a bit of pretentiousness aside for stuff like this, because it is cheap whiskey and unashamedly so. But give it the time of day, and obviously don't drink it last in the evening, because I'll probably get into that in a little bit. But it doesn't really stand up against more robust whiskies later on, but nor should it have to, I don't think. But yeah, okay, let's get into it then. Almost certainly added colour and chill filtered, but being at 40% and being that dark, I imagine there's very few non-tired casks in this, because that's what makes it so cheap. That's just me guessing, but let's get into it and see what we got. On the nose then. Okay, it's an interesting first nose. It's for me, it's all the things that it's a really typical Scotchy nose. It's got a little bit of vanillas, a little bit of honeys. It's got a bit of smoke on it. A little bit of almost like a kind of like a petrol-y vibe to it, which for me that's a winner. I like a petrol. I like a petrol. Let's try on the palate. As you might expect, it's got a bit of a thin arrival, but that's okay. It opens up into more of those nose flavours coming through, those kind of vanillas, those honeys, a little bit of that smoke at the back end. Much more smoke, in fact, at the back end. It has some ashen qualities to it. I imagine there's quite a lot of Kalila in this. That's usually a good bet for blended stuff. Not sure about where the kind of grain would be coming from, but that's just my lack of knowledge. But yeah, for me, for the price of this, it's not too bad. I mean, this is like a solid 6-7 out of 10, using my scale where you actually use all the numbers. It's a solid middle of the grounder. It's one of those ones where you could keep it on your shelf and it would sit there, and if you ever fancied a dram but didn't want to tap into your really expensive stuff, this would be fine. And that's more than I can say for some whiskies on my shelf, because I've got some cheaper whiskies that I just never want to go towards, because they don't hit the same sort of vibes for me. This one here definitely would be a great starter dram for a flight of smoky whiskey. So if you're in one of those kind of, like, for me, it always hits Friday. But Friday night smoky mood, this would be one that you could have to kickstart your palate. Like I said at the start of the show, this is not going to be one that you end the night with, because everything else is just going to blow it out of the water. Anything that's got like higher ABV or more robust age, like the 10-year doesn't really make any difference on here. It's just it is what it is. It's just a nice number. I think it wouldn't withstand something really robust, but like I said earlier, it doesn't have to. It's just a nice, cheap starting whiskey, a guard whiskey if you like, perfect for that. And I'll find myself reaching for this more often than I won't. And again, I'll say that's not the same with all blended whiskies that I've got on my shelf. I've got some diabolical ones and I've got some great ones, and this is one of those ones that's just nice, middle of the ground. But let me know what you think about Black Bottle. I know a few of you are starting to come around to the idea of Black Bottle. If this video kind of entices you to go and try a Black Bottle, then for me, check out the Alchemy series, like the Island Smoke. That's a really top-notch one for, I think it's about 23 quid, so a few quid less than this. You can hit the standard first one to get it even cheaper, but I'd recommend spending a little bit more on some of the fancier ones. This is one of those ones where you could easily take it or leave it, but for the price of it, it's worth giving a go, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But in any case, I'll see you again on more videos soon. Cheers.